I'm going to call the August 20, 2025 Williamsburg Planning Commission meeting to order. Heather, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Bowe?
Here.
Mr. Hamilton? Mr. Tarley?
Here.
Mr. Boswell?
Here.
Mr. Granger?
Here.
Mr. Phillips? Ms. Liebel?
Here.
All right, thank you. We don't have matters of special privilege today. That brings us to the approval of the minutes from our June 18, 2025 meeting. Are there any changes to the minutes as posted? Hearing none, I will ask, is there a motion to approve the June 18, 2025 minutes as submitted?
I so move.
Second.
Ms. Bowe?
Aye.
Mr. Tarley?
Aye.
Mr. Boswell?
Aye.
Mr. Granger?
Aye.
Ms. Liebel?
Here. Aye.
Okay, that brings us to our open forum, which is an opportunity for anyone to address the commission on matters that are not on today's agenda. I see Dr. Cranbuell approaching the podium. Please come and state your name and address for the record.
So, thank you for inviting me, well, at least listening to me. David Cranbuell, 201 Harrison Avenue. I have just two, what I consider key things. I've asked about having an agenda for the CPI, and I sent an email to Tevya, and by the way, I think Tevya, the world of her, so she's an incredible employee and incredibly skilled and whatever, but I don't know who exactly puts it together, but we don't have an agenda, index in front of it, and since there's really two parts to it, and it's very hard to find them and keep notes, and it's you have to create your own list of each item and how much money it is in the year that it would be implemented. James City County seems to have, as I sent in that. Did you get that email? I don't want to, maybe not. Hopefully. At any rate, I sent a copy of the James City County index to their CPI, and I'd like to urge you to recommend and that she and her staff or whoever does it to create an index for the current CPI. Now, the second reason is that I believe that the city's really being stressed out and being pushed even harder with respect to borrowing money. And you're the Planning Commission. I know most of the things you do is approve things with respect to planning, but I try to think of you as really much more comprehensive than that in terms of city planning. And in that regard, you are charged with the comprehensive plan. And that ties into the point. The city is on the verge, if you carefully had time to carefully read the proposals that came out in the spring. We're borrowing huge amounts of money. The amount of money that we're going to have to make, the debt payment is tripling over the next several years to $6 million. And that, in a couple years, we actually go into that border zone where we don't want to cross this line, which we do cross in 1 year and hit it in the second year where we're in the area where we might lose our credit rating. So that comes to the CPI itself and what we do going forward. With respect to the comprehensive plan, a very significant amount of money is being proposed, which assists you in developing it, $600,000. 2 years, $300,000 to get city residents' opinions about what we want to do. I'd like to suggest, and you have as individuals, but perhaps hopefully as a planning commission, have a role in that, and that this money is being spent to aid you in developing the comprehensive plan. And that we've never spent, if we talk to Carolyn Murphy, we've never spent anything like that to develop the comprehensive plan. And it's basically been done by very qualified folks, the 5 of you, and then probably some other people, perhaps past members and so forth. So I'd like to suggest that $600,000 be delayed or well, I'd like to suggest 2 things. Number one, we don't spend any amount of money like that. And that number 2, that if we were to try to create such a survey, we need to realize we won't have the money to follow any of the recommendations because we're borrowing everything up to the limit. So there's 2 points here besides this index for the plan, is to look at the plan and to have a public discussion of maybe we delay some of these items because we're pushing ourselves into a very higher tax issue and possibly losing our high credit rating and stressing out lots of people, I can afford this higher taxes, but lots of people can't. And so the point is to have this comprehensive $600,000 expenditure delayed because of we need to start cutting back on certain expenditures in the CPI, and this one being a perfect example of one that should be able to be cut way back in terms of its amount. And I'd even, it serves as a goal for creating new things that we need. And it's the wrong time because we've put 3 big expenditures together within a gap of a year or two, and we're pushing how much money we can borrow, so we need to have some very prudent fiscal management. It should start with the $600,000 not being spent, and it should be addressed to delaying things on the CPI so that our debt structure can be spread out without huge significant annual increases, which will severely affect the remaining amount of money we're able to spend. So I just ask you to think about that. I should have written this all out, but I think you have the drift of what I'm saying, and you're all count on you to evaluate this, hopefully with an index, and also with thinking about, as you think about the comprehensive plan, that how we address future expenditures and delaying them and spreading them out, given the fact that we have 3 huge multi-million-dollar projects that we have to fund. And of course, you realize the library's budgeted at $20 million. Having just met with Sandy Towers for an hour and a half, we need another $8 million to just get it shelves put in, and that's another expenditure we don't have budgeted. So hopefully you'll see this in addition to all the other things you have to do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. Anyone else? I don't see anyone else, so I'm going to go ahead and close the open forum. And we don't have consent agenda items. We have 2 public hearings today, PCR 25-022 and 25-023. I understand our city attorney will be making a presentation.
If you could take them together so I can talk about them together, that would be great.
We will have them together. Yes, ma'am.
So the 2025 General Assembly adopted 2 bills that impact the Planning Commission. The first is House Bill 2660, which shortens the time frame for reviews of site plans, development plans, and preliminary plans from 60 days to 40 days for development plans and site plans and 45 days for preliminary plans. The second bill is Senate Bill 974, and it removes the Planning Commission as the review agent for purposes of site plans and subdivisions. So development plans, site plans, preliminary plans now are required to be reviewed and approved by a designated agent. That designated agent is appointed by the City Council. Last month, to get through this month and a half that it took me to draft this ordinance in front of you, they did appoint the planning director as the designated agent. Ordinance 2512 makes those changes to the subdivision ordinance, and 2511 makes those changes to the zoning ordinance, shortening the timeframes and changing the review process so that instead of Planning Commission, the designated agent is in charge of the review and makes the ultimate approval. The ordinances does not remove the Site Plan Review Committee from the process, but it does change the Site Plan Review Committee from an advisory body to the Planning Commission to an advisory body to the designated agent. So she can request the Site Plan Review Committee to assist her with reviewing the site plans. It still requires a public hearing, and of course there's a shorter time frame in which to get that done. Also, I have not removed any of the notice provisions, so the typical putting signs in the yards and sending notice to the next door neighbors that are currently required in the code remains in the code. But instead of coming to the Planning Commission, any concerns would be directed to the designated agent. So to the extent that I have been able to leave our existing process in place, I have done that. But at this moment, the Planning Commission no longer has the authority to do those reviews. And so the ordinances in front of you make those changes to the city code.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Ms. Shelton. we're essentially required to do this.
Yes.
And you've carved it out so that our processes remain
As much as
as
possible in place.
as much as possible. Yeah. I know there was some commentary about the transparency, but as long as there's still public notice, people are going to be able to participate in the process. If there are no questions, I'll go ahead and open the public forum. Dr. Cranbuell, anything to comment on that one? Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public forum then, and I'll ask, is there any discussion before I call for a vote? Okay, is there a motion to approve PCR 25-022 and PCR 25-023 as submitted?
I so move.
Second.
Ms. Bowe?
Aye.
Mr. Tarley?
Aye.
Mr. Boswell?
Aye.
Mr. Granger?
Aye.
Ms. Liebel?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We don't have site plans or other business. I'm going to defer the commissioner reports because everything's been quiet this summer. We do have a public hearing that's going to be coming in the September meeting. You got information about that. Anything else that we need to talk about? Okay, we're adjourned.